Alright, today on Cooking with Kevin. No, that's lame too. What are we gonna call it? Hey guys, I'm Kevin, and this is Bush Cooking. Today, side ribs. Today, we're gonna be smoking some side ribs. So we're gonna be smoking these ribs on our pellet smoker. It's a really easy method of smoking. You buy these pellets in bags. I use Lumberjack. For this one, I'm gonna be using the apple blend because apple goes great with pork, but you can use whatever you want. There's so many different varieties. The nice thing about a pellet smoker is you don't have to maintain a fire. You can just put the pellets in, put it to your temp, it's all digital, and it'll do the work for you. To smoke these ribs, we're using the 3-2-1 method. Those are hour increments, or 3 hour, 2 hour, 1 hour. So the first 3 hours, we are leaving it unwrapped on the grill as is at 225 degrees Fahrenheit, and we'll let it sit there. After an hour and a half, 2 hours, we will give it a little spritz with apple cider vinegar and water. And then when that 3 hours is up, we'll go to the 2 hours. And that 2 hours, we are gonna wrap it in foil. We're gonna wrap it fairly tightly. This holds all the heat in, and it's going to further cook. We'll leave it with a little bit of the cider vinegar in there to create some moisture for it. And then after that 2 hours is up, we'll unwrap it and then put it back on the grill, slather it in a barbecue sauce. We use our own. You can use whatever you want. You can make your own. We'll do a video on that too, or you can just use some store-bought stuff. It's good too. For that though, it's unwrapped, and you crank the heat up a little hotter for that last hour, and that sauce will lay down over the ribs and create this beautiful exterior that you'll be able to present to your guests. Equipment you're going to need for this cook is obviously your smoker. We use a pellet smoker like I was saying before, but you can use any one you want. You will also need butcher paper. You don't need it, you can just use any paper, but we like to write on it. We use it for many different cooks, and we just have so much available that we use this. We'll write a specific timeline, so we know exactly the times of when we're wanting to do things. We have a game plan. Game plans are very important, so you don't have to worry so much about losing track of time. You just look at the sheet and you're like, okay, 1:30, I gotta wrap these things. Very important. A knife, you're gonna need that to clean up the ribs. You're gonna wanna trim them. We'll show you how to do that. It's not a lot of work. Just clean it up. You want nice straight edges. Presents well, and then you don't get those little burnt hanging things off the end. Salt and pepper, 3-to-1 ratio. 3 pepper, 1 kosher salt. We use that for brisket. We use that for pulled pork. We use that for ribs. Like that ratio. Some mustard. We're gonna put a light layer over top the whole ribs, on both sides, just a nice little layer. The salt and pepper will stick to that nicely, and you'll get that nice crust to it. You'll also need pellets. Yeah, and that's basically it. You're not gonna need much more than that. It's a very simple recipe. It just takes time. All good things take time. The nice thing about a pellet grill, pellet smoker, is that it's digital. So you can set your temp and trust it to do its thing. The one I'm using has a 5-degree increments, but we leave it at 225. You don't need that fine touch, because usually you're smoking things 250, 225, 275. You're not in between there that often. So if yours doesn't do 5, that's fine. But for this one, we're gonna be going 225 and 270. No more, no less. We got a beautiful day outside, and it should hold. Smoking can be an intimidating thing. It's really not. It's quite simple. It's great to screw up. It's nice to do things and try new methods, and that's why writing it down on this peach paper or your notebook is very important, because you write down what you did, so that if you do mess it up, or you think at the end of the cook, this wasn't quite as good as I want, you can go back, look what you did, switch it for the next time, and it can become a very enjoyable thing, because you're always learning. It's never going to turn out perfect. There's always room for growth, and notebooks are very important for that. With any cook, you're going to want to make sure that your grill, your pellet smoker, is clean before you start. Ash can build up, and this can cause it to burn out, and then you're going to go inside and you're going to leave it for a while, and you're going to come out and realize that your thing's dropped down to 50 degrees, and it's slowly going down from there because it burnt out. So you're gonna want to vacuum that out. I use a small little shop vac and I clean it out after every cook just so that never happens. Clean out your grease trap, all that sort of thing, and you won't have a problem. Okay, so the end goal for these ribs is to making sure they're super tender but not falling off the bone. Falling off the bone, some people love that and that's great, but that is a little bit, can be considered overdone. But we want them super tender, and when you bite it, it comes off the bone, but you don't want to pick it up and have it just fall apart. To be able to cut through these things and serve them as chunks rather than pulled pork is, in my opinion, the best way to go. To begin, we're gonna clean this up. So we're just cleaning this up. We want a nice, smooth line when this thing's all done. And we're just gonna cut off all these little blemishes. Sometimes you think you're wasting it, you're not. It's all just gonna burn away anyway on the edge like that. So you just get a nice smooth finish. You can cut away some of this fat if you like. Pull that off. You can pull off that silver skin if you want. Some people do, some people don't. I usually leave it on there, holds it together. But once you're done trimming it up, you get a nice smooth look to this thing. I like to roll them like this. Loosens it off the bone a bit. Go the other way. And that's that. So we've squared this thing up. It's nice, so it's gonna look all pretty when we're done. So now we're just gonna take a little bit of mustard and we're just gonna do a light coat around it on both sides. Just like so. All right, next step, salt and pepper, 3-to-1 ratio again. And I like putting in a cup like this, but if you have a empty season thing, put it in there and sprinkle it. Get a nice uniform coating there. We're gonna do both sides. Again, when I say 3-to-1, it's the same I do for almost everything. 3 pepper, 1 kosher salt. All right, so we're gonna set that aside. So ribs usually take around 5 hours on the smoker. So we're gonna write out a timeline that we can give ourselves a rough idea of where we're at, and then we can plan our day accordingly, because it takes a chunk of your day up. But we're gonna start at the back and work till now. So when we're finishing these things, we wanna end at about 270 Fahrenheit. And we wanna start at 225 Fahrenheit. And we're gonna work this way. And this is called the 3-2-1 method. These are hours. Right there. So it should be 5 hours. So this bottom section here should only be an hour. So we got 1 hour. And this is where we're gonna add our sauce if we want it. And I'm gonna have a sauce on this one because I like my pork ribs saucy. The beef ones I like dry. So we're gonna add sauce. And that's at hour 4. All right, this middle section is 2 hours. This is where we wrap it. And I like to wrap mine in foil. You can wrap it in this peach paper. We got this pit boss stuff here too. Works great on brisket. But with ribs, we like foil. And I'll show you how to do that when we get there. But that is a 2 hour stretch of time right there, and we wrap it tight. So, wrapped. Right now it is about 10:30, so I'll probably get these things on right away. This is 10:30 a.m. This is 3-hour section here, and this is where we just throw them on the smoker grill, just the way they are at 225 degrees, and we're gonna leave it at 225 right down until the last hour here, where we finish it with 270 and gets that sauce right on, nice and I don't know what you call it, smooth. But anyway, we got a rough idea here. So you add 5 hours there, you have a general time. 3 hours from that, 1:30, we know that we have to wrap. And then 2 hours from that, 3:30, unwrap, add sauce. And these things will be done by 4:30, rest, dinner, 5 o'clock p.m. Boom. Stay organized. Follow it. Alright, so we're all preheated and ready to go. Side ribs. Pick them up. Lay them down. 2 to 5, 3 hours. Let them rest. Alright, so we're gonna spray this with apple cider vinegar. That's what we put in here, mixed with water, about a 50-50 ratio. We're just gonna give it some moisture in there a little bit. It's a couple hours in. Just like that. Looking pretty good. Alright, 3 hours in. Took our ribs off the grill. And now we're gonna wrap it in foil. So we've laid this nice long sheet here. You're better to go bigger than smaller because you want to cover this whole thing. These bones here, you want to be careful that you don't poke holes in this because that kind of defeats the purpose. So to start, we're going to add some more vinegar. Keeps it nice and moist inside this. I'm gonna fold one side over, tuck it in like that. Take your time here. Do not want to poke a hole. Fold this side over. Underneath. Get that nice and tight. And now fold this over. Fold this over. Tuck it in. Examine it for holes. We look pretty good. Now that's ready to go back on the grill for another 2 hours. Keep it at 225. All right, so these were on there for 2 hours, wrapped up. We're gonna unwrap them now and coat them in this homemade sweet barbecue sauce and get them back on there for the last hour. Looking quite awesome. Yeah, very happy with that. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this barbecue sauce. I'll do a video on this. It's brown sugar, molasses, apple cider vinegar, tomato paste, and a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, in Worcestershire, we'll show you that on a different video. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna spread this out. Now, this will go back on the grill for another hour, and this barbecue sauce is gonna just look lovely. It's just gonna mat the whole thing. So good. Love how it's pulled back there a bit. Can't wait to eat these. See you in a bit. All right. Right on schedule. That's why you make one of these. You get to 1:30, you know you gotta wrap it. You get to 3:30, you unwrap it, cover it with your barbecue sauce, and let her go for the remaining time at 270. Beautiful ribs here. But this helps. This keeps you on track. I had to pick kids up from school today. I have to run and get groceries for a job I have to do tomorrow. I had a lot of things to do. but because of this, I was able to budget my time properly. You don't have to do it, I just recommend it. But anyway, have a look at those. We'll zoom up on that in a bit. But that is beautiful. Now, cutting these things. Use my big doll strung slicer. I love it, that's why. A bit big for this job maybe, but whatever. These are money. Still on the bone, but they come right off. That, in my opinion, is bang on. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you like this video. If you do, please subscribe down below, hit that bell to get notifications. We're going to be doing these videos quite often. I hope it helped. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments or email me at chefkevinfunk@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram at the same, at chefkevinfunk, for more videos on food, smoking in particular. Anyways, have a good day.